Fuck out of here!
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. That's one small step for man. One giant leap for mankind.
All right, welcome to the GTFOH show. I'm your host, Matt Billen. In this episode, we're going to be laughing at the moon landing. Happy anniversary, everybody. 50 years ago, they faked going to the moon. It's an amazing accomplishment. I hope they're celebrating with something big, right? Maybe fake going back, or maybe one of those commemorative fake gold coins. Something special. It's a big one, right? 1969, put a man on the moon. That's believable. 240,000 miles away and back on one tank of gas. My computer has more technology than the Apollo missions, but yeah, it's believable. Went to the moon in the 60s. Can't argue with it though, right? Live on TV. That wasn't pre-recorded, that one small step. Live on TV from the moon. Crystal clear, well, pretty clear. 1969. Anyhow, let's do some research. We'll watch some archive footage, watch some YouTube videos. Let's laugh at it. They didn't go to the moon. We'll start at the beginning. Check it out.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? Why does Rice play Texas? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. We shall send to the moon 240,000 miles away from the control station in Houston, a giant rocket more than 300 feet tall, the length of this football field, made of new metal alloys, some of which have not yet been invented.
Did you say they haven't been invented yet? It's a lot of pressure.
Capable of standing heat and stresses several times more than have ever been experienced, fitted together with a precision better than the finest watch, carrying all the equipment needed for propulsion, guidance, control, communications, food, and survival on an untried mission to an unknown celestial body, and then return it safely to Earth, re-entering the atmosphere at speeds of over 25,000 miles per hour, causing heat about half that on the temperature of the sun, almost as hot as it is here today, and do all this, and do all this, and do it right, and do it first before this decade is out, then we must be bold.
All right, let's meet the crew and let's get this mission rolling. Going to the moon.
Tomorrow, we, the crew of Apollo 11, are privileged to represent the United States in our first attempt to take man to another heavenly body.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell. Is that fear or is that guilt?
Could you describe your emotions as regard that prime human emotion, fear? Do you harbor any fear, or how would you describe your attitude just before flight? Any one of you, or all. Well,
I certainly
why
wouldn't
don't
say
you draw straws?
All right, hold this right here. Let's see where we're at in technology nowadays.
Orion is NASA's next-generation spacecraft. Built with versatility in mind, it can take astronauts deeper into space than we've ever gone before, to an asteroid or even onto Mars. For these missions, Orion has to be one tough spacecraft, withstanding high speeds, searing temperatures, and extreme radiation. Before we can send astronauts into space on Orion, we have to test all of its systems. And there's only one way to know if we got it right: fly it in space. We are headed 3,600 miles above Earth, 15 times higher from the planet than the International Space Station.
3,600 miles above Earth, you say that like that's a long distance. 240,000 miles away to the moon. 3,600 miles? 50 years later?
As we get further away from Earth, we'll pass through the Van Allen belts, an area of dangerous radiation. Radiation like this could harm the guidance systems, onboard computers, or other electronics on Orion. Naturally, we have to pass through this danger zone twice, once up and once back. But Orion has protection. Shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation. Sensors aboard will record radiation levels for scientists to study. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
What the fuck? I thought you've already sent them to space through the Van Allen belt. Many, many times. Why you gotta study it again 50 years later?
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again. But going to Mars should be one of the next series of steps that humans do. The first step should be going back to the moon for a number of technical reasons and exploration reasons, and then after that, Mars, maybe high orbit in Venus atmosphere, maybe going to Europa. There's all kinds of targets to go to, places of interest in our solar system. The only limit to human future is in our own imagination.
Okay, so they're not quite sure if they can go through the Van Allen belt, and they've destroyed all the technology. Forget about that. All right, let's go 50 years back now, and let's go to the moon.
Ignition sequence start. 6.
First thing, obviously, that we're going to have to do is to undock from the command module.
Roger, how does it look? Roger.
And then we rotate it around so that Mike could sort of make a quick check of our landing gear.
Listen, baby, everything's going just...
All right, before we get to the moon, check out this next clip. This one's interesting because it shows you the distance they actually went and how they did the trick photography. This one's hard for them to explain. This one did it for me anyways. All right, check it out though. This is funny.
An old reel received by mistake. It contains the raw or unedited footage of the crew of Apollo 11. The illusion they are attempting to create is the Earth at a distance to demonstrate their far journey from it and their ability to survive passing through the Van Allen radiation belts. Understand, too, that only about 20 seconds of this raw footage was ever broadcast to the public, and these conversations discussing their deception were believed to be private, until now. Here they discuss that these television transmissions were in fact not broadcast live as everyone believed. They were first screened and edited for playback later.
Roger, Neil. We just wanted a narrative such that we can, when we get to playback, we can sort of correlate what we're so much.
Here they discuss the fact that they have turned out the lights and have blocked out sunlight from entering the spacecraft through the other windows as to not cause any reflected light to fall onto the spacecraft's wall in the foreground.
Okay, very good. Well, we shut out the sun coming in some of the other windows into the spacecraft, so it's looking through the number 1 window, and there isn't any reflected light.
The reason this was done is so that the truth of the matter would not be revealed. It is this. Though the federal government would have you believe that this is a view of Earth from a distance out of the spacecraft's window as it nears the moon, it is not. What they have ingeniously done is placed the camera at the back of the spacecraft and centered the lens on a circular window in the foreground, outside of which it is completely filled with the Earth in low orbit. The circumference of the window then appears to be the diameter of the Earth at a distance, with the darkened walls of the spacecraft appearing to be the blackness of space around it. That is why they wanted the interior dark and blocked out the sun from any other windows. Here you can see the extruded window, probably 2 inches thick at the bottom. This is because the Earth's shine is coming in at a downward angle. It also causes the Earth to appear to be an irregularly shaped circle, for you are seeing the outside of the window at the bottom and the inside of the window at the top, which together form 2 different sized halves of a circle. Subsequently, this take was never used. As they perfected the shot, a crescent-shaped piece of black material was inset slightly into the window to create the illusion of the Earth's terminator line dividing night and day. It is uncannily convincing. During this segment, intended to be edited and played back later for the worldwide television audience, dated July 18, 1969, Neil Armstrong condemns himself as he states that he is 130,000 miles out, or halfway to the moon, as the NASA flight log also states on this date, when he is in reality in low Earth orbit of a few hundred miles.
Roger, Houston, Apollo 11. Calling in from about 130,000 miles out.
Here, during another segment, also intended to air after review, Neil Armstrong falsely explains to the viewers how the shot is attained by putting the camera's lens to the window's glass, as it would have to be if they were the claimed distance away from the Earth.
We only have one window that has a view of the Earth, and it's filled up with a TV camera.
If the window was completely filled up with a TV camera, as he stated, then an astronaut's arm would not be able to get between the camera and the window, as it obviously does here in this outtake.
South America becomes invisible just off beyond the Terminator or inside the shadow.
You can also notice how the astronaut operating the camera reacted to the mistake by attempting to pan away from it.
Blue gas. See white bands of major cloud formations across the Earth. And
This is a segment that they believed wasn't even being recorded, much less suitable for broadcast, for the lens was being zoomed out and the scene was being changed to that of an interior of the astronauts at work, and apparently the stop button popped back up on the recorder without notice. Here is the diffused work light that they used to see camera controls, but not throw light onto the spacecraft's wall. Here they remove part of the crescent insert. Finally, the iris is opened up to see the real location of the camera and the very bright and near Earth out the window. Here is the slate for the 19th of July, and the same shot of trickery on the 19th of July, and then the 20th, and the same misleading shot on the 20th. Later that evening, they were said to be walking on the moon. How can this be when they were in Earth orbit only 9 hours earlier, and the moon is some 3 days' journey away? Furthermore, if they genuinely went to the moon, why would they be faking any part of it? Why?
Yeah, that one's hard to deny. I don't know why they would fake it. Anyways, this is an actual footage that they did end up airing, so you can see just how full of shit they are. Check this.
the Earth is viewed from the spacecraft in the eastern Pacific Ocean. We have not been able to visually pick up the Hawaiian island chain, but we can clearly see the western coast of North America, the United States, the San Joaquin Valley, the High Sierras, Baja California, and Mexico down as far as Acapulco and the Yucatan Peninsula, and you can see on through Central America to the northern coast of South America, Venezuela, and Colombia. I'm not sure you'll be able to see all that on your screens down there.
All right, let's get back to the moon landing.
Eagle, Houston, we see you on the steerable, over. Roger, Eagle, I'm done. Roger, how does it look? The Eagle has wings. Roger.
Okay, all flight controllers, go for landing. Retro. Go. Fido. Go. Guidance. Go. Control. Go. Telcom. Go. GNC. Go. Ecom. Go. Surgeon. Go. Capcom, we're go for landing. Altitude 4,200.
Houston, you're a go for landing, over.
That's unbelievable. I looked it up and show you where we were in technology in 1969, just to show you how unbelievable a moon landing mission is. In 1969, if you thought your wife was pregnant, the doctor would take urine from the woman, inject it into a rabbit, and if the rabbit died, your wife was pregnant. Yeah. Same here. We're on the moon. We're killing rabbits with piss down on Earth.
Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now. Neil, we can see you coming. Very, very fine grained as you get close to it. It's almost like a powder. I'm going to step off the limb now. That's one small step for man.
Yeah, one giant leap for bullshit.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're going to be busy for a minute.
Armstrong is on the moon. Neil Armstrong, 38-year-old American, standing on the surface of the moon.
Do you notice how there's no delay in their radio signal? Houston, yes, how are you? Like, whoa, what the fuck? There's a delay on CNN still. From Earth.
Remains to be recaptured by the Iraqi army.
Yes, dear. We are now in west of Tikrit. We are at the outskirts.
Was this expected if the Conservatives won?
Well, what was expected was a boring election, but that's certainly not what we got.
How you doing, Control? We look good here, fine. How about you, Telcom? Go. Guidance, you happy? Go. Fido.
Go. 2,000 feet. 2,000 feet. Into the ag. 47 degrees. Roger. 47 degrees.
Still looking very good.
Your go. Top alarm. 1201. 1201. Roger, 1201 alarm.
Armstrong and Aldrin spend just over 2 hours exploring the surface of the moon.
You've got your feet underneath you.
They climbed back inside to repressurize the lunar module and then took a nap. And that was basically the spacewalk.
Astronauts moving in slow motion is another hallmark of the Apollo TV footage. There is no evidence at all of any astronaut making a leap or a jump anywhere near a height commensurate with 1/6 G possibilities. But if they were actually simulating EVAs on Earth, they would then need help with their bulky heavyweight suits and backpacks in order to achieve the visual effect of moving around easily in lunar gravity. So enter wire supports. This is a tried and tested way of relieving weight from performers, or even flying an actor. Of course, confirmation that wires were used is in the detail. Here in this Apollo 14 footage, you can see a ping, a momentary glint. And again, run slowly. And once more. There are other examples too. This one is from Apollo 17 during the flag scene. You can see the ping at the top of the frame. In this footage from Apollo 16, we have telltale evidence of a slightly floating or dangling effect at the jump salute location. It's as if the weight is being taken off the astronaut's feet just a second or so too soon. Compare that sequence with an obvious rehearsal rig. The dangling effect is very evident. And here again, from the same mission, Apollo 16, we have an astronaut who is about to get up.
Give me a hand. Okay, here we go.
Let me give you a hand, he says.
There goes Barry. There goes the
Look at it again. The astronaut is getting up with the wire taking the weight, relieving him of 5/6 of the Earth's gravity. A magic trick? No, just the help of a wireman. This is a slow motion jump that would have been seen live on TV. And here it is at normal speed. The well-rehearsed, pre-recorded material was apparently slowed down by 50% when we saw it on TV.
All right, so that last shot, I sped it up a little bit and added some goofy music. When you speed it up, though, it does look like they're just running around, though, doesn't it?
Beautiful. Very smooth. Very quiet ride. Apollo 11, this is Hornet, over. Apollo 1, this is Apollo 11, Launch course, our position 1330.
At this time, I'd like to introduce the Apollo 11 crew, astronauts Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, Edwin Aldrin. Neil?
It was our pleasure to have participated in one great adventure. It's an adventure that took place not just in the month of July, but rather one that took place in the last decade. We all here and the people listening in today had the opportunity to share that adventure over its developing and unfolding in the past months and years. It's our privilege today to share with you some of the details of that final month of July that was certainly the highlight for the three of us of that decade.
You just got back from the moon. Show some excitement, goddammit. What the hell? How do you not just... I think it all says everything in your face. I think you feel a little guilty. Almost like you're being forced to do this press conference. I would have been, I went on the fucking moon.
And talk about the things that interested us most, in particular the things that occurred on and about the moon. We will use a number of films and slides which most of you have already seen, and with the intent of pointing out some of the things that we observed on the spot, which may not be obvious to those of you who are looking at them here from the surface of Earth.
All right, this next clip is one of very few interviews or speeches that Neil Armstrong ever made. Any public appearance. He was very, very quiet after the moon landing. I mean, hey, being the first man on the moon, wouldn't you be out in public a little bit more? Anyways, this was the 25th anniversary. This is the speech he gave. It's a little cryptic, a little weird. I don't know. Let's see what you think.
Today we have with us a group of students among America's best. To you, we say, we have only completed a beginning. We leave you much that is undone. There are great ideas undiscovered, breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers. There are places to go beyond belief. Those challenges are yours. In many fields, not the least of which is space, because there lies human destiny.
Did you just say remove one of truth's protective layers? Just come out and tell us you didn't go already. Shit.
I haven't seen anything that indicates the telemetry data is even in existence, and as I said, even if we had it, we don't have the machines to play it back.
But your own research has shown the telemetry data is missing.
That's right.
Could this be true? Mankind's first interplanetary exploration and the original science data is missing?
Apollo 11, this is Houston, radio check, over.
If it's anywhere, it should be here at NASA's Goddard Space Center in Maryland, home to the National Space Science Data Archives.
Oh yeah, you lost it. That makes total sense. You know, if you don't label something properly. I've moved before, I totally sympathize, 100%. It's just the fucking moon. Yeah, we got one video, it's good enough.
Right, we've been unable to track it down. I mean, we don't know where this telemetry data ended up, and we don't know what path it may have taken. So, unfortunately, I'm afraid I can't really give you much of a clue as to where this data ended up and whether it still exists or not.
All right, this next clip. This is Bart Sibrel, great filmmaker. Documentary called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon, where he approaches every living astronaut and has them swear on the Bible that they walked on the moon. Check it out.
Argument, and put your hand on the Bible, swear to God you walked on the moon.
Mr. Sibrel, knowing you, that's probably a fake Bible.
I don't hit people, but you're going to be on the deck unless you get I'm heading out. I appreciate it. And get the hell out of the clubhouse.
Well, I hate your stuff and get the fuck out. Why don't you quote me and say it's bullshit?
You want me to knock you in the head?
Well, you're talking to the wrong guy. Why don't you talk to the administrator at NASA? We're passengers. We're guys going on a flight.
You're the one who said you walked on the moon when you didn't. Calling the kettle black if ever thought of it. Saying I misrepresented myself.
Away from me.
You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
Little tip out there. You call somebody a coward, a liar, and a thief, get ready to move back.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened. And if it didn't happen, it's nice to know why it didn't happen, so in the future, if we want to keep doing something, we need to know why something stopped in the past that we wanted to keep it going. Money is a good thing.
What the fuck? I could have been done a half hour ago. Should have just started with that clip. Oh, you heard it yourself. Buzz Aldrin didn't go to the moon. Who would ever guessed? All it took was an 8-year-old to ask him the question. Yeah, apparently Buzz just won't lie to a child. Anyhow, I'm done. That's the episode. Hope you enjoyed it. This is a brand new channel. I'd love it if you'd hit subscribe, maybe click the notification bell. I'll see you again. My name is Matt Billen. Take care.
That's one small step for man. Get the fuck out of here! One giant leap for mankind.